A very warm welcome to this video where we are going to discuss the secrets behind the tradition of Shradh or the Pitru Paksha. So first let us discuss about the philosophy, the wisdom behind the Shradh. First thing which has to be understood is that you are in a queue. You are just not like that existing. There were people before you who were healthy, who had this power of procreation because of which we are here, because of which you are here. And for you to be healthy and to procreate is very important for your next generation to be here. You are a way for the next generation to take place on this planet. And that is precisely the reason why suicide has not been permitted by so many cultures and so many varied kind of religions which have existed on earth. You are part of a sequence. This is the broad view of life, and even if you just ignore to refuse it, it will still exist. In the Farsi language, Pitar means the people who were born before you, and Pisar means the people who will be born after you. In your lineage. So what have your ancestors given you? Have they given you some estate, or have they given you certain liabilities? Have they given you health, or have they given you disease? This is something which an astrologer can infer by seeing at your horoscope. If you are facing disappointments in your career or your health because of the ancestral heritage which you have, then this time is very important. It has been mentioned in so many scriptures, and there are a lot of things which need to be done during this time at various eminent places like Haridwar, like Pushkar, like Pehwa, like Gaya. And if you can't go to these places, then wherever you are, wherever there is a holy place, over there, to make sure that you get rid of this kind of a liability, which might, in other words, be called as Pitri Rin. Pitri meaning the people who were before you, and Rin meaning a liability. And it is not so that they were responsible for giving you this liability. So don't start to curse your ancestors. When there was a soul contract between you and the Almighty of being present here on earth, then you agreed, you signed on this, that you would be taking ownership of these liabilities. The second thing which is important to be understood is, even those people who have died an untimely death in this lifetime, maybe somebody who was born after you, they also become elderly to you, they also become your ancestors. So if something has to be done either for the disappointments which you are facing in life because of their liability, or something has to be done for their welfare, then this is the right time. Scientists did a lot of research on mice. So they took a female mouse and put some electrodes on her, and then they took her children very deep in the water to a level where even the sunlight doesn't penetrate, and then they killed the children one by one. To the utter amazement, the utter shock of the scientists, they found that as soon as a particular child of that lady mouse was killed, the lady mouse registered it. They could find that electrical activity happening at the same time. They were perplexed as to how come there is this kind of a connection, deep connection between the mice, the mother mouse, and her children. This is called the biology of Shradh, where you have a relationship of blood in your family running, and that is why there is this profession of genealogy. They maintain your family trees. You got to know who was your father, the father's fathers, the father's father's father, the father's 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 fathers, and the forefathers, the whole lineage. Probably in the times to come, science will also explore how this can benefit humanity at large. As and when we are getting more advanced in genetics, we are trying to understand about our ancestral heritage, what we got from our ancestors in a far better way, and the day is not far off when science and spirituality will become one again. So those people who die, where do they go? Is it that when they die, they cease to exist? That means that without the body, there can be no existence? The scriptures go against it. The scriptures don't believe in this. They say that there is a place called earth, and then there is a place called Pitarlok, which means residence or abode of those people who are now no more but still they have existence. And then there is Swarglok, again people who don't have a body but they still exist over there. In Brahma Puran, it is said that if you are doing some kind of prayers, then first you have to do the prayers for the ancestors and then for the devas or the gods. It is just like if you're staying at a place, you have the local government and then the state government and then the federal or the central government. So first you please or you do whatever is to be done for the local government, then the state government, and then the central government or the federal government. There are some people who contact the people who are no more, and if they can contact the people who are no more, probably the people who die, still they exist in some sense of the word. And Shradh are nothing but honoring those people who do not have a body but are still there and were somehow related to you via the bloodline. The next thing to be understood is that there is a time for everything, and this is the thing which is precisely studied in electional astrology. Bhishma Pitama in Mahabharata, when he was hurt with a lot of arrows and was in tremendous pain, he just refused to die. He said, "No, I don't want to die now, I will wait." What did he wait for? He waited for an opportune time, because he knows that if he dies at a particular time, he will be able to go far, far, far beyond in the realms of the universe. And if he dies before, then there will be a problem. He will not be able to go that far. When I say he will be that, I mean the soul or the spirit of Bhishma Pitama. In Gita, in chapter 8, verses 23 to 26, talk in detail about it, and specifically verse number 26 says, Shukla Krishne gate yete jagatah shashvate mate ekaya yatyana avrittim anaya vartate punah. Which basically means that according to the Vedic opinion, there are two ways of passing from this world. One is the one in light, and one in darkness. And when one passes in light, he does not come back, but when one passes in darkness, he returns back to the earth. So the important thing to be realized is that there is a time to die. So if you have an opportunity to choose the time of death, and that is also taught in Hasta Yoga, then it is also mentioned in Gita, by the way, then it becomes very important for a person to learn this art of dying. Because each and every one of us, if there is something common between us, it is that we are going to die one day. So why don't we learn how to die in order to go even farther? And this is the time when we can do something about either solving the problems of the dragon head, solving the problems of the ancestors, or paying our reverence or homage to our ancestors. It is called Pitri Paksh. Pitri means ancestors, and Paksh means 15 days. Just like Shukl Paksh means the
waxing
waning half, the waning 15
days.
days, and the Krishan Paksh means the dark 15 days. So during these 15 days, you can hire a person, because how to do it is something which people who are specialized in, they know. They know how to perform specific things. Like for example, in the Charak Samhita, a Vanaspati Tantra is there, where it is specifically mentioned what steps need to be followed in order to do these Pitri Kams. So there are people who specialize in it, but broadly what they do is they do the Tarpan, they do the Puja, and then they do the Bhojan and Dakshina, which means Tarpan means something to do with water, and then Puja means prayers, Bhojan means offering food, and donation, Dakshina means donation. So this Tarpan is done through water, and water has maximum receptivity. the researches of Dr. Emoto, who is a researcher from Japan, has shown that water can receive our intentions. So somebody can throw in the intention and the other person can pick up the intention. And this is something which is quite a wonderful property of water, which has been studied by Dr. Emoto in the recent times. The second thing is that when you do this kind of a karma, you face the south side, and the south side is supposed to be again fierce. Again, you do it with black sesame seeds, which is again, black is a cruel color. Again, you do it at a time which is called a cruel or a cruel time. That is from 11:30 to 12:30, when the sun is at its maximum heat. It's very difficult to look at the sun at this particular time because it is in its full strength. So this time offers tremendous opportunity for those of you who are suffering because of their ancestral heritage, because of dragon's head, to do some kind of things to make sure that they come out of their suffering. And now to the mathematics of Shradh. That means during these 15 days, when should you perform these kind of rituals? And that really depends upon whether you are doing it for a particular ancestor or for all the ancestors. If you're doing it for all the ancestors, you can do it on a new moon. But if you're doing it for a particular ancestor, then it needs to be done on a particular lunar date. Now, a lunar date is called a tithi. What does a tithi mean? It means the difference between the moon and the sun. How far is the moon from the sun? It is a purely mathematical concept. So till 12 degrees, that means if moon is 12 degrees more in longitude than the sun, it is the prathama or the first lunar date. Now from 12 to 24 degrees, it is the second date. So you need to know, and any astrologer after seeing the ephemeris can let you know that what was the tithi, the lunar date, when a particular ancestor passed on to the other side. And on the same lunar date in this year, you can perform your rituals. Now, when are those tithis happening this year is something which I have given in this description. So just look at the description, find out when you should do these rituals, contact a person and get it done, and get rid of any kind of liabilities which you have inherited from your ancestors for your well-being. Thank you very much for being with me. This is Prabal Frank Nandavani signing off.